When you open DaVinci Resolve for the first time, you're hit with a blank screen and one lonely project called Untitled. So what is this, and where is the timeline? Here's the thing, most beginners do exactly that, and within seconds they're lost. But stick around, because by the end of this video, the project manager will go from intimidating to your new best friend. Whether you're brand new to DaVinci Resolve or you've just dipped your toes in, the project manager is where every single edit begins. This is where you create new projects, where you organize them, and where you manage local, network, or cloud-based libraries. So what is a project library? Think of it as a container. Inside that container are all of your projects, each with its own edits, timelines, color grades, effects, and settings. Resolve also calls it a database, which is the same thing, just a fancier name. So the left panel is your list of project libraries, and the right panel is the actual projects inside whichever library you've selected. By default, Resolve creates a local database the very first time you install the program. It's called local because it's stored right on your computer. Nothing is saved in the cloud, and nothing is shared over a network. The next part is really important. The project library does not hold your actual video, audio, or image files. Your media can be stored anywhere, such as your desktop, an external hard drive, a NAS, which is a network-attached storage. The project library only keeps the project data, so that's where your clips are, the edits you've made, and any effects you've applied. On the left side of the project manager, you'll see the project libraries panel. This is your master list of databases, whether it's local, networked, or on the cloud. If you've just installed DaVinci Resolve, you'll probably only see the local database here. If you don't see the panel, look for the tiny Show Hide Project Libraries icon near the top of the window. Click it and the panel appears. Next is the search field, and it lets you find a project library by name. If you start typing the name of your database, whether it's stored locally, on a network, or in the cloud, Resolve will instantly filter the list to match your search. It's important to note that this search only looks for project libraries and does not search for individual projects inside of those libraries. Next is filter by menu. This dropdown lets you narrow the list by project library name, schema, status, and location. So what is schema? Each version of DaVinci Resolve may update or change its internal database format to support new features. This dropdown lets you narrow that list by older schema and newer schema. If you're just starting out and using the default local database, you won't need to worry about schema differences. However, schema becomes important when you're working in shared environments or importing older libraries from different Resolve versions. And finally, you can choose an ascending or descending order for each option. So if you're ready to make a new database or connect to an existing one, that's where the Add Project Library comes in. So the first step is to click the Add Project Library in the bottom left corner of the Project Library panel. A small window will appear with two tabs: Create for making a brand new library, and Connect for linking to an existing library. For now, let's select Create. Under the Create tab, you'll see two fields, Name and Location. For name, that's the name that you want to give your new library, for example, YouTube projects. And for location, that's where the library will be stored. So you'll want to click on Browse, then choose the folder on your computer or external drive. Once both fields are set, click Create. Your new project library will now appear under the local section in the left panel. Next, we want to click on the new library in the left panel, look for the red outline, and hit the little eye icon on the right-hand side. Here you'll find the location, which is the storage path of the library, the status, such as compatibility and if the library is functioning correctly, and the created and modified dates. From this panel, you can also click on the Reveal in Finder, which opens the exact folder containing the library. You can also make a duplicate copy of your library. This makes an exact copy of the library, including all projects, timelines, settings, and edits. This is helpful for version backups before major changes, creating a separate working copy for testing, or reorganizing your projects. To back up your project, you can click the Backup button. A standard save dialog appears. Choose a save location and give the file a name, and then click Save. Resolve saves the backup as a .resolve disk DB file. Again, one thing to note is this backup only contains the database files, not your actual media files. You'll be prompted to confirm the backup, and once complete, Resolve will display Project Library backed up successfully. And finally, at the bottom of the Details panel, you'll find the Remove button. Clicking it will prompt a confirmation asking you whether to disconnect or not disconnect that database. keeping in mind that disconnecting it removes it from the list but keeps the files intact. The restore function is used to bring back a project library from a previously created backup file. The first step is to click the restore button. A file browser window will appear. Navigate to the folder where your backup is stored. Remember that backup files use the .resolve disk DB extension. Select that file, then click Open. A confirmation message will appear stating this operation might take some time depending on the size of your project library. If you're ready to proceed, then click Restore. Once the project finishes, Resolve will display a message such as Project Library has been restored. Then you can click OK. Your restored project library will now appear in the project libraries list on the left. You can select it and access your projects just like before. If you've moved your database to a new location or reinstalled DaVinci Resolve and your projects are missing, don't panic. Your projects may still be intact if the database that holds them still exists on your drive. You may just need to reconnect it. Inside the Project Library panel, click the Add Project Library button at the bottom. A small window will appear with two tabs, Create and Connect. This time we're going to select Connect. You'll want to use this when reconnecting to a project library that already exists, whether on your local drive, external SSD, or network location. The next step is to enter a descriptive name for the database, for example, client database or my external SSD projects. The name doesn't need to match the actual folder name, but choose something clear so you'll recognize it later in the list. Then we'll want to click Browse and navigate to the top level folder where the database is stored. This folder must contain the Resolve projects. Once confirmed, click Open. Then the last step is to click the Connect button. If the path and structure are correct, Resolve will relink to that database immediately, and all of its projects will appear in the main project panel on the right. The top controls are as follows. The Add Folder icon is used to create a new folder for organizing your projects, useful for grouping related work. For example, separating YouTube videos from client jobs or personal projects. The Copy Project To icon allows you to copy the selected project to another location, such as a local database, a network database, or the Blackmagic cloud. Next is the Size slider. You can use this slider to adjust the size of the project thumbnails in the panel, from small icons for a quick overview to large previews for easier browsing. Next is the Sort menu. Click this to sort your projects by name, date modified, timeline count, format, which is resolution, or frame rate. The Info button toggles extra project details underneath each thumbnail, such as resolution, number of timelines, and last modified date. And then we have two icons, thumbnail view and list view. Switch between a grid view, which is thumbnails, or a list view, which is compact rows. And finally, we have the search and filter. In the search bar, you can search projects by name and then filter results by name, format, or notes. And then at the bottom, we have a few other options. The first one is export. It saves a selected project as a DRP file, which is a DaVinci Resolve project file. Next, we have import, which brings a DRP file into the current project library. And then we have new project, which creates a fresh blank project. And finally, the open button, which can be used to open up your projects. You can also double click on a project and it will open it as well. Once you've created your project and double click on it, DaVinci Resolve will open that project in the main workspace. This is where all your editing, color grading, and finishing will happen. But we'll cover this area in detail in a later video. When you right-click on any project thumbnail in the Projects panel, a menu appears with powerful options for opening, exporting, archiving, and managing that project. Here's what each one does. The first one opens a selected project in the editing interface. This is similar to the default double-click action. The next one is open in read-only mode. This opens the project window without allowing edits, perfect for reviewing someone else's work or protecting a project from accidental changes. The rename selection lets you give your project a new name. Import project allows you to load a DRP file, which is a DaVinci Resolve project file, into the current project library. Next is export project. This saves the selected project as a DRP file, which again is a DaVinci Resolve project file. These files are portable and easy to share, but keep in mind they do not include media files and only the project structure, edits, timelines, and settings. The next selection is Export Project with Stills and LUTs. It's similar to the Export Project, but also includes gallery stills you saved in the color page and LUTs, which are lookup tables used in the project. So what are these? Gallery stills are saved freeze frames of your graded footage. They let you quickly copy a color grade from one clip and apply it to another. And LUTs, or lookup tables, are preset color styles that instantly give your footage a specific look or mood. And next we have the Export Project Archive, the .dra, which is recommended for full backups. A project archive is a self-contained .dra folder that can include the DRP file, gallery stills, LUTs, timeline structure and metadata, media files if selected, render cache if selected, and proxy media if selected. One thing that's important to note is that when you do create a project archive, that you click that media checkbox. Otherwise, when you go to restore a project archive, that media will not be included in it. So why would you want to use this option? Well, it ensures no missing media or broken links. It's perfect for long-term storage, final delivery backups, or moving projects to another system. And it's great for collaboration. Share the full working project without worrying about having to relink. Next is the Restore Project Archive. This opens a full .dra archive and restores the project exactly as it was, including all your media. Next, we have the delete option, which permanently deletes the project from the library. So a warning, this cannot be undone unless you have a backup. And then we have your cut and copy options used for moving or duplicating projects. This next selection allows you to load project settings to the current project. So how does it work? It loads only the settings such as resolution, frame rate, and color from the selected project into your currently open project. Keep in mind that media and edits are not copied, just preferences. This next section allows you to access your project backups. It lets you look at your project's backup history, but only if you've turned on backups in the preferences. From here, you can open up or restore an earlier version of your project, which can be a lifesaver if you ever need to roll back changes or recover lost work. Next, we have dynamic project switching. This lets you keep multiple projects open in tabs, similar to a web browser. It's great for editors or VFX artists juggling multiple timelines at once. While this is great if you're working on several timelines at once, it also uses more memory and can slow things down. As a beginner, I would suggest to leave this off until you really have a reason to use it. If you do decide to go ahead and use dynamic project switching, you'll see an option called Close Project in Memory. This simply unloads that project from your computer's memory without shutting down Resolve, which can help free up resources if you have multiple projects open at once. The next is Refresh. This updates the project list to show any new additions. It's very handy in shared environments. And finally, we come to Remote Rendering. This sends your project to a connected remote workstation for rendering. It's ideal for studios with a dedicated render farm. As a beginner, I would suggest to leave this off, but it is something to explore later if you move into a multi-computer setup. The Network tab is basically for sharing a project library with other editors on the same local network, so you can all work on the same project together. We won't go deep into the setup here, but just know it's for local team-based collaboration. The Blackmagic Cloud tab is for storing and collaborating on projects over the internet using Blackmagic's subscription service. It's great for working with people anywhere in the world because your project is synced through the cloud. In a future video, we'll explore the setup, features, and costs in detail. So now you know exactly what the first screen in DaVinci Resolve is all about and how to use the project manager to stay organized from day one. Be sure to hit the like button and drop a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.